Have you ever stopped to think about how your decision to, say, buy a coffee, somehow connects to the wealth of an entire country? It sounds crazy, right? But that massive, complex thing we call the economy, well, it really does start with simple choices in your own wallet. Today, we're going to connect those dots, from your personal budget all the way up to the big picture. Let's dive right in.
So, let's start with a really basic but kind of profound question. Why can't you have everything you want? I mean, think about it. That dream vacation, the latest smartphone, a brand new car? Why not just have it all right now? What's stopping you?
Well, the answer comes down to one single powerful word: scarcity. This is the absolute bedrock of all economics. The thing is, our wants are pretty much endless, but the resources we have to fulfill those wants, things like time, money, labor, raw materials, they are definitely limited. And that tension right there between unlimited wants and limited resources shapes literally everything.
Think about it like this. You've been saving up, and you've got enough money for an amazing vacation, or for a down payment on a new car. But because your funds are limited, you probably can't have both. You have to decide. You are forced to make a choice. And that simple act of choosing, that's economics in a nutshell.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Every single choice you make comes with a kind of hidden cost. It's not just about the money you spend, it's about what you had to give up to get it. Economists call this opportunity cost. So if you choose the car, the opportunity cost isn't just the price tag. It's that incredible vacation you didn't get to take. It's the value of the road not taken.
Okay, so we get it on a personal level. Scarcity forces us to make choices, and every choice has an opportunity cost. But now, let's zoom out, way out. How do we measure the grand total of all those choices made by millions and millions of people across an entire country? How can we tell if a nation's economy is doing well or not so well?
The most common way we do this is with a term you for sure heard thrown around: GDP. Now, before we get all technical, the easiest way to think about it is this. GDP is basically a country's annual economic report card. It's one big number that tries to give us a quick snapshot of how things are going.
So, what does gross domestic product actually mean? Let's break that down. Total market value just means we add everything up, using its price in, rupees. Final goods and services is super important. It means we only count the finished car, not the steel, the rubber, and the glass that went into it. That way we don't count the same things twice. And within a country's borders means exactly what it says. If it was made in India, it counts for India's GDP. Doesn't matter who owns the factory.
So how do we actually calculate this giant number? Well, one of the most common ways is to just add up all the spending in the country. The biggest slice of that pie, by far, is consumption. That's you and me, buying stuff. Then you've got investment, which is businesses spending on new equipment and buildings. You've got government spending on things like roads and defense. And finally, net exports, which is just what we sell to other countries minus what we buy from them. Add it all up and boom, you get GDP.
All right, so if GDP is the report card, what's the fuel that makes this whole economic engine run? Let's take a look inside the engine room and talk about how money really works, because it's probably not what you think.
We use it every single day. But what even is money? Well, at its core, it does three really important jobs. First, it's a medium of exchange, which is just a fancy way of saying you don't have to trade 5 chickens for a haircut anymore. Second, it's a unit of account, so everything has a price tag and we can easily compare values. And third, it's a store of value, meaning you can save your earnings today and spend them next year. Without these three things, our economy would just grind to a halt.
But here's the real puzzle. We all know that modern money isn't backed by gold anymore. It's basically just special paper, or more likely, just numbers on a computer screen. So, if that's true, how do banks seem to create more of it almost out of thin air?
Okay, it's not actually magic. It's a system called fractional reserve banking, and it's pretty wild. Stick with me here. Let's say you deposit 1,000 rupees in your bank. The bank is legally required to keep a fraction of that, maybe 100 rupees, just in case. But it lends out the other 900 rupees to someone else. Now that person takes the loan and buys something, and the seller deposits that 900 rupees into their bank. And what does that bank do? It keeps a fraction, 90 rupees, and lends out the other 810. You see the pattern? The process repeats over and over, and your original 1,000 rupees has suddenly created way more money circulating in the economy.
This incredible effect has a name. It's called the money multiplier. And here's the key takeaway from all this. The more we all participate in the banking system, instead of hiding cash under the mattress, the more powerful this multiplier effect becomes. Our collective actions directly expand the amount of money available in the whole economy.
So we've got this massive economic ship, right? And it's fueled by money that can literally multiply itself through the banking system, which leads to a really important question. Who is steering this thing? Who's at the helm deciding whether we speed up, slow down, or change course? The person in the driver's seat is the country's central bank. For India, that's the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI. And a really great way to picture their job is to think of them as the driver of a car. The tools they use to control the economy's speed, those are their accelerator and brake pedals. And the name for using those pedals is monetary policy.
So, what is monetary policy exactly? Well, it's the central bank's master plan for managing the amount of money and credit flowing through the economy. And they're always trying to pull off a tricky balancing act. Their main goals are, 1, keep prices stable so your money is worth roughly the same tomorrow as it is today, and 2, make sure the economy keeps growing at a nice, healthy pace.
Now, monetary policy really comes in two main flavors. On one side, when the economy is sluggish, the central bank can use what's called expansionary policy. Think of this as hitting the accelerator. They'll lower interest rates to make borrowing cheaper, which encourages all of us to spend and businesses to invest. But if the economy is getting too hot and prices are rising too fast, that's inflation, they'll switch gears to contractionary policy. This is them hitting the brakes. They raise interest rates, which makes borrowing more expensive and cools everything down.
So there you have it. We've gone from a simple choice in your wallet all the way up to the GDP of a nation, how money is actually created, and the giant levers that steer the entire system. But the main thing to remember is that these aren't just theories in a textbook. They have a real impact on the interest rate on your home loan, the price of milk at the store, and how easy or hard it is to find a job. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know the basics, where do you see these forces, scarcity, opportunity cost, and monetary policy, playing out in your own life?